Yeah. Warm welcome,
Mm,
Michael,
thank you.
here in this space. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
good
for,
to be here.
oh, good to have you here. Thank you for willing to to sit with me like that and to record it and to express it openly,
Mm,
whatever comes here. And let's see. Yeah, we
mm,
know we know each other. Uh, yeah, for maybe a year or so, or maybe more. Yeah,
maybe, yeah.
we've been looking together and having fun together, so to speak. um, yeah, let's see. Let's see what is that brought us here together.
mm. Something did, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I get I'm more and more trust what happens without questioning it too much now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really think about, when you put the offer out, and you're looking to someone to go on YouTube and explore. I didn't think too much about it. I did some sessions with Lubo, and we did 3 sessions, and your email came out. And I go, yeah, I was thinking of doing more with you anyway. At some point, I was wanting to really explore more with you. So your email came out and go, yeah, great, jump on. And I don't think too much about these things anymore. It's like I haven't. It's almost like an impulse. And even with
Right.
this trip away, with the trip away, we were talking about going because Sandra and I, my wife, are going to Sri Lanka together for 2 weeks,
Mhm.
and then she was going to fly into England, and I thought, well, I'm all the way over there. That's not far from India. Maybe I should just go to India. And I didn't even think about what to do or where to go. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go for another month. I'll go to India. At that point, I was just going to be on my own in India. I hadn't planned where to go, what to do. And then my daughter goes, I was talking to my daughter and I go, I'm going to India. Oh, she goes, I'll come. I go, great. I'll meet you there.
Hmm.
So it kind of unfolds without too much thought or too much
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
analysis.
Yeah, in actuality, everything is unfolding in this way, like all
Mm,
the seeming events and um, things, and thought is add-on. Like you notice beautifully that thought
mm,
goes after usually, and how
mm.
it feels to not think too much. What is the experience of thoughts are there, but they are not considered as the most important or so important. They, of course,
I think
they help to plan, to buy tickets, to book things and so forth. But
there's still a kind of a bit of a, I don't know. I've had this feeling before where where the mind is kind of, it's sort of almost like you could say it's a prison, really, because it just keeps you within a limited space. And so there's certainly a lot more freedom from that now, from the mind. Like keep me fully trapped. Like there's like, this is happening. I'm in this mind, so my head's down. I'm kind of lost. That's certainly not there anymore. But and I have moments of complete freedom. So moments of, this morning with the session this morning was wonderful. And so I definitely have moments where there's no sense of self whatsoever. And it's beautiful. And
yeah, it's very freeing.
yeah,
And and
very
and
free.
and what about the moments when it's as if there is a sense of self? We can look in these moments, even though now it's not present. And usually, when we are swimming in the like calm water, or it's okay, like relatively, it's easier. It's like
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
feels lighter, feels yeah, and that's amazing. Yeah, but
Mm,
let's look when it's as if a self has back or a self is there dominating the experience or the mind is like putting everything in
mm,
boxes and trying to operate.
mm.
How this feels.
Oh, it was interesting this morning because I did go from our meeting to another meeting that was like even more expansive. So that expansion just kept going, even, further and deeper.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
that was just a very much, it was a perfectly okay one that where it's just experimenting with being, well, same sort of thing, but just boundless and vast
Mm.
and just that sense of whatever's arising, and then just silence. We're just in silence for a lot of it. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, and then I went back to, made a cup of tea for my wife and sitting in bed, and then she started talking about stuff, and we got a lot of stuff to do before we go away because we're leaving tomorrow morning, so there's a lot to do. And then she was wanting to redo some stuff that we'd done before. And then immediately it's like a trigger. It's like boom, poke, poke, poke.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. It's like,
and then I'm immediately,
mhm.
immediately I'm back into like this pattern of energy, and it's like that pattern of anxiety and like anger and frustration, and I'm
Mm.
trying to keep it because I've just come from this beautiful place of
Yeah.
nothing but silence and peace and emptiness, and dragged straight back into this sense of you and me, and this sense of
A,
I'm
wi-
right, you're
a
wrong.
wife,
We've
a
done this
wife,
before.
yeah, a wife wanting something, demanding something, asking for
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, like we spoke on our meeting last night, we had a group meeting. That, yeah, awakening, so to speak, is to master, not to master, but to, yeah, to, like to experience it within the whole system being, and to move that like that through the daily life, so-called daily life. And
Mm.
yeah, let's see what is, yeah, how to put the question here. Can you say that again, that you came from that space, that expansion,
And
and
so
that.
it was like it was kind of like an old pattern. So it's like
Mhm.
basically that something that's already been completed and done. And then, um, and then, so my wife's wanting to, she doesn't really probably fully understand how it all works, but we're sitting in bed having a cup of tea. So I'm saying, well, we'll get up later and I'll show you, we'll do it later. And then she just kept asking the same questions. But this is like a trigger for me because for
Mhm.
me, I grew up in a family with five sisters, right? So it was very hard to be noticed or heard. And I was like middle, so wasn't the youngest, but I was in the middle. And my sisters were much older, two of the older sisters. So it's like to
Yeah,
even be heard, I can remember sitting just having an idea or wanting to express an idea, and you can't even be heard. No one will listen to you. So
yeah,
it's a real trigger from childhood.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly,
and so,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So we can
Mm,
have a look. Uh, what is there being triggered precisely? When the trigger lands,
mm,
where it is landing, when it comes, where it is landing. Is it landing on an image of a child, or a feeling of someone or something? Yeah, where the
it's
arrow
in a
goes.
it's in a feeling of not being valued or not being heard or not knowing,
Yeah,
not knowing enough, or
yeah,
yeah, even though I know I'm right, I know that what I'm saying is correct. It's not being heard. So it's
yeah,
almost like a lack of respect. It's not. It's almost
right,
like being not
right,
respected. Yeah.
right. Yeah, in a way,
Mm,
this part, we can notice how gentle, fragile, and sensitive is this part. And this part wants to be embraced like it is an inseparable part from the wholeness. And we can say that
mm,
that part projects out there a seeming triggers. It wants to be healed in a way. It wants to be noticed. So it
mm,
keeps projecting, yeah, events, people, and circumstances in order for the trigger to come and to illuminate that.
mm,
So this part wants to be looked at and healed. Yeah. If I'm curious, what would it say if it has a voice, that fragile, vulnerable part?
Mm. It would say, why don't you listen? Why don't you believe me? Why don't you, um, almost like, why don't you respect me, or
Yeah.
respect that I know that I'm what I'm talking about? Mm.
Yeah. 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 We can notice that the fragile part, this part that is not being heard, it wants to
Mm.
hear that it, yeah, what it, yeah, that there is respect, and it
Mm.
projects the respect coming from out there.
Mm.
Yeah, but only we can give respect, appreciation, love, compassion, and understanding to all of our parts. Yeah, it
Mm.
comes from within. So let's look at
It's
this. Can I give respect to this part? Can I cherish, acknowledge,
mm.
feel that part, that it's here? Yeah, something like, I see you. Yeah, I see you.
Mm. I see. Yeah.
I see
It
you a
does
little.
feel like a child. It does feel like a
Yeah,
child.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a just wounded part, hurted part.
Mm.
And again, it projects innocently events and situations and people in order to feel the same thing. It's like this is the
Mm.
basis of the childhood wounds and trauma.
Mm.
The unconscious projects all that it's coming from outside with one reason only, not to feel more hurted or more disrespect, but to point that here, I have to look here.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because I stayed calm like one,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
two, three, four times. So it tested me, no problem. First time calmly answered, second time calmly answered, third time calmly answered,
Yeah.
fourth time, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's like funny how it kind of just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed until it got a response, because there was no response initially.
Yeah.
Just calm.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes, this is grace, comes with to trigger that. So how
Mm.
this part feels right now? Does it feel hurt, accepted, understood? Notice where it is stand. Like if we imagine, let's try to imagine the whole room full of different
Mm.
aspects of ourselves, like different parts,
Mm.
different layers. Where this part stands.
It kind of stands right at the very back, almost hidden. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's invite the part to come. Let's invite it.
Mm.
Something like you don't have to pretend that you are alone and apart from that.
Mm-hmm.
When we were young, when we were kids, the wholeness that we are in, like we are all that wholeness, one undivided consciousness, so to speak, or okay, these are words, but and
Mm.
because of many things that were happening, and it was like we had to divide ourselves to many different parts, things, aspects.
Mm.
And awakening is simply bringing that together, acknowledging all these wounded, strange, weird, sometimes not feeling not lovable and not accepted parts. So let's invite
Mm.
this one. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, invite it. Something like, yeah, now
Wow.
I see you.
Mm.
Let's
Mm.
let's meet. Let's put everything here on the table. Yeah, let's invite it
Mm.
on the light. Don't be shy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does feel shy, and yeah.
So sweet. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, don't be shy. We are all like family here,
mm,
you could say. None of these families excluded. It's not possible.
mm.
Very
Yeah, saying
gentle.
I'm listening. We're listening. Yeah. What do you want to say? Mm,
Something like you have right to be
mm,
heard, like to your
mm-hmm,
voice to be heard. You have right to feel angry when you are not heard.
mm,
Yeah, it is
mm,
right to express that.
mm-hmm. And in the situation, if it's triggered again,
Mm-hmm.
what's the response in the moment as it's triggered? So if it is triggered again,
Yeah, it will be triggered until it is not simply.
mm,
When it comes again, just, yeah, to feel the raw sensation that is there. Probably it's hurt.
mm,
And because it
mm,
hurts, we have two ways, like there are two seemingly coping mechanisms. So first is to shut down.
yeah,
It's like we all did that, like shut down and don't say anything.
mm,
But this cannot go like that for long. You know, like you said,
mm,
trigger continues. And the
mm.
second is to
Yeah.
explode.
And so it just happens, whatever happens, happens. And then afterwards,
Yeah,
so let's say so let's say I do explode again. What's the
mhm.
next step?
Yeah. There is one tiny step just right before the explosion to come.
Mm,
It's like to be very curious how this trigger lands, like it's coming,
mm,
and before the explosion, there is
mm,
a gap. In the beginning, this gap can be really, really like tiny, almost hardly
mm,
notice it. But the gap is not like I'm shutting myself and I'm not gonna say anything. Or I feel anger inside and I'm gonna say anything. No, no, not that.
mm,
Just like open. We open, like it's as if something is coming towards us. We're like, okay, I'm here for all of that.
mm, mm,
And it comes like a wave. Probably you notice it's come like.
mm,
So the willingness to ride the wave,
mm,
to ride, to feel the heat, to feel all of it, like the hurt that I'm not being heard. I'm like, this is not like there is no respect here, or what I'm saying doesn't matter. There has no value. And when
mm,
this is felt, like but deep, like intimate, really, really deep, then an answer or response may arise, and it's going to be different.
mm.
It can be something
So
like,
you welcome it in. You
yeah,
welcome it in. Let it say what it's saying. I'm not heard. I'm upset. You
just
say,
to feel
I'm listening.
the flavor of that. Yeah, to
Mm,
feel that, to be willing to feel the pain there, the
mm,
wound.
mm,
And then pain transforms. When we are willing to feel that pain, it transforms. Because back on, there was a pain, and then we created that mechanism, either to close ourselves or to explode. And the pain was not
mm,
felt. The pain is locked. It's like staying here,
mm,
wanting to be felt. Yeah, and when this is felt, then again, a response may arise. A response may arise, and it's going to be really different.
mm,
It's gonna be deep, um, intimate, like, yeah, we become intimate, more intimate when we are sharing vulnerably what we are experiencing. And then what may happen, like many possibilities, yeah, sitting and sharing with your partner vulnerably, openly, how you feel.
mm,
Something like when you
mm,
say that, I felt, I felt.
mm.
No, why you're saying that. No, when you say, I felt.
Mm.
Yeah, it was painful. I felt pain.
Mm.
Yeah,
So I
and
think it's
go on.
sorry, go on.
No, you go.
I think I think it's worth. I kind of get what you're saying too about like you say that like people, situations, circumstances will continue to arise to push those buttons.
Yeah.
Can you say more about that?
Mm.
Like, so you're saying that it's all coming from the unconscious, so we're creating it from here. It's not out there with.
It's all here.
It's all coming.
It's all here, and
Mm,
the unconscious, like the dark, the nothingness, you could say. In my experience,
mm,
I feel it like a darkness or not like, I know, emptiness from where everything arises. Like this force, it's always like longing to expand and to come whole, to become whole.
mm.
So it's gonna project whatever is needed to point out to itself that it is mistakenly taken itself to be separate. So in a way, we as wholeness, we are projecting what we can't see as others, as
Mm.
events, as situations, as, and not only on personal level, like on collective level as well. And this is wholeness wanting to become whole again, grace.
And you say it's dark, darkness or empty.
Yeah, in my experience, is emptiness from where everything arises. It's like everything arises from that, from nothingness, darkness, emptiness.
And when you say it's collective, there's only one darkness or one emptiness or one space. So how is it collective? How is it shared, that creation?
Yeah. It is expressing as everything and many things and all things. It is expressing as everything, humans, beings.
It does seem to have a point of viewing, a point of experiencing, a point of that seems to be separate to other
Mm.
points of viewing or seeing. And I can sense if I look at what's looking, what's
Mhm.
observing, and I look back at it, it has no characteristics.
Absolutely
So it's
not.
just empty.
Right. Yeah.
There's no space, like there's no boundaries or edges or time or shape, or it's just open like an
Mhm.
empty, infinite screen.
Right. And
So
we
I
are all
kind of,
that. We are all that.
mm,
Yeah, your wife is that as well.
mm.
Same stuff. Mm.
Yeah, but there's that, that's what I mean. But there seems to be, from this perspective,
Mhm. Mhm.
it still seems to have a perspective like this view.
Okay. Okay. Where is the looking coming from? Is it coming from the
I
eyes, behind the eyes, from the head, from behind the head? Where is the
can't
looking?
find it. I can't find it. Yeah,
Mhm.
I can't find that. But then again, like this experience here,
Mhm. Mhm.
wow, it's just maybe that's just a thought that there's an experience there that's different. Like I can't see what you're seeing. Um, so this point of view that this is looking through,
Mhm.
even though if I look back that way, it can't be any different. It's impossible because there's nothing. So it has to be the same. But if I'm looking this way, it looks different.
Yeah, appearance is different.
Yeah.
The essence is
So
the
that
same.
seems, yeah, the essence of what's looking is the same, but what it's looking at, it seems to be a different, unique. experience of everything.
Beautiful. The fact that there is unique experience, does it make the experience separate? There is uniqueness in each experience.
Mm,
There won't be any experience like you're having at the moment, and there never was the same experience. There
mm,
has never been anyone like you.
mm,
This is how unique your expression is. But the fact that there is uniqueness, does it make separate? There is uniqueness, yes. It in the tree, at the tree, like every leaf is different.
mm,
But is it separate from the tree? This is like a
mm,
metaphor, but yeah.
mm. But it's even like what you see, because I mean, I can see my body, and this is one of the wonderful exercises I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We've done if someone's leading in POK, because even, there's no, how can I separate this image of this from the image of everything else?
Right.
So without thought, if there's no thought,
No, no, there is
you
nothing
can't, you
separate.
can't, I can't remove this from the whole. I can't take this out of the whole and leave a space behind.
Yeah,
And then one thing just bleeds into the next. It's only
yeah,
an idea that says this thing even exists.
absolutely,
It's
yeah.
just as a separate thing. Even as a separate thing, I mean, we've got this tree, a yucca tree out the front, which is a big, it was about 3 meters tall and had four big branches and big spiky leaves, a very big tree.
Mm-hmm.
And it was dead when we bought the house. And it started falling over after about 3 years. So my wife said, you need to get rid of it. So I got rid of four of the branches because it's too big to I had to cut some off. And then there's four big branches sticking out like this in a dead trunk. And I thought, it looks nice. I'll put a pot plant in the middle. So I put a pot plant in the middle. And then after maybe, I don't know, 6 months, leaves started sprouting from this trunk, even though I could
Oh,
have just pushed it like this and pulled it up
yeah,
and
yeah,
but if I'd put it on the concrete, let's say I did pick it up and put it on the concrete, it would have died. If I removed it from water, it would die. If I removed it from carbon
right.
dioxide, it would die. If I removed it from sunshine, it would die. So, it's the same here. Which part's the tree? Which part's the body? Like I need all of this more than I need this arm.
Yeah,
I need oxygen more than I need the arm. So
yeah, you cannot
that's part of
differentiate exactly, yeah. Yeah, and the experience of the so-called body is, what is that? Is there a body, or there are experiences that we call body? We put a label to some to shape, form, colors, and experiences. We call that body. And how this body is separate from, it is unique, but it's not separate.
mm, mm. Yeah, it's only thoughts or ideas
Yeah,
that
only
make a house.
only only
Or,
thought make a thing. Mm.
mm,
Yeah, I often say that thinking, thought, this intellect, the possibility to this magnificent tool
mm.
is is a blessing, and it is a curse. It can be a curse,
Mm,
because only through that we can, in a way, animals are that they cannot realize it. This is how unique we are. Everything is.
mm,
Yeah, but the intellect is a tool.
mm,
Thinking, thoughts are not different than the cloud and sound and color and sensation.
mm. It's hard to work like to let the weight of them go. So they have been very, very heavy for a long, long
Mm.
time. Like
Yeah,
they have ruled this whole experience,
oh,
really.
absolutely.
Or it seems that way.
Yeah. Now
Um,
let's notice that it's the the attempt to let go brings tension. We don't have to let
mm,
go these thoughts.
mm,
They are softening, become lighter by themselves. Like when the
mm,
experience is different, when we start trusting more and more and more and more the reality of our, like the truth of our experience, thoughts follow. They're always after. When we
mm,
examine how the action is happening, how the simple doing is happening, thought claims fuse like seconds or fragment of a second after the action is being done.
mm,
You can check easily in your experience. So
mm.
it's the same
Yeah.
when we start feeling like having more trust, they change, they follow inevitably. They follow the totality from where they come.
Mm.
They are not different. Like thoughts are not something apart from totality. They are totality as well.
Mm.
Yeah, what kind of thoughts are now circulating? Not so heavy, I guess. Maybe
No,
thoughts
not too
about
heavy. I mean,
maybe thoughts about the upcoming trip and excitement and they love that. They love that. Oh, so many things are.
yeah, yeah, so many things to do and so much to prepare, and haven't packed yet, and haven't organized some of the flights yet internally. So there can be a sense of overwhelm at times. Like that's another pattern that I seem to enjoy doing. I like to overwhelm
Oh,
myself with lots of.
oh, good to notice that. You said it seems I enjoy it. Yeah. Yeah, we deeply
Well,
enjoy everything that is coming in our
mm.
experience. That's why it's coming. Tell me more about that, about the
Well,
overwhelm.
I reckon but that's another pattern, very strong pattern.
Mhm,
So, you have to work hard. You have to, and we talked about this earlier
mhm,
too, but
mhm.
you have to, you'd never quit one job before having another. It doesn't matter how much you hate the job, you do the job until you get another.
Mm.
And then you have to work very, very, very hard, and then maybe you'll do all right if you work very hard, but life's
But
hard,
it's not so
and so
certain. It's not so certain.
nothing's certain. Yeah,
Mhm.
so these are just old patterns that I
Yeah,
recognize. And the overwhelm, I think the overwhelm comes from a sense of importance of being valued. So my
right.
time, I'm always very, very busy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and I
and
take
just to
on,
notice that to be valued, this comes to the childhood wound of not being heard, not being valued.
mm,
There is connection here that I see. Just to notice that.
thank you.
Mhm,
Yeah. Um, so yeah, that because I take on very, very big projects. I work for myself. That's my own business.
mhm.
But my wife says that I am the worst boss I've ever had.
Mm.
No other boss would expect me to work the way that I've worked in
Oh,
my
yeah,
business.
yeah, we can be our
So
worst
yeah,
judge, critic. Yeah.
yeah.
And
And
how do you
so,
feel about that? How do you feel about seeing the pattern and not having to act on that?
well, I do find myself, it's almost like I need to consciously put effort in not to get sucked into that pattern.
Good.
Um, and I mean, my mind wants to be entertained the whole time. It wants to be busy the whole time. And so,
Yeah, and there is a knowing of that, right?
there's a knowing of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How mind wants to be entertained, how mind wants to play. Only
Yeah.
working? Maybe there could be some other um,
Oh,
ways to entertain the mind.
well, yeah. I mean, I've got the non-dual addiction. It seems like I'm quite an addictive personality. So,
The
I
mind is
used
enjoying
to,
that?
oh, mine loves
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And also learning things, like mine loves learning new
Mhm,
things.
mhm. And what do you enjoy the most?
Well, what I enjoy most is that space, that living. So I love the community. So being in the community and feeling
Beautiful,
like-minded, those connections of like-minded
beautiful.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that's what I value most, having that sense of connection. I,
And
I,
space,
I
in the
love
space.
in the space.
Hmm.
And I love having, I love helping people make positive change in their life so I can help them. I can kind of guide them with the work I do.
Beautiful.
I, I really love the results that they get um,
Hmm.
because it can be life changing for them. So I really enjoy that when I get that feedback.
Absolutely.
Um, mm,
And let's
there's,
notice how mind can be absolutely very strict, supportive, what we like, not what the mind, what we like. Like mind comes to
mm,
support that immensely.
mm,
It doesn't have to be an enemy. Mind can
yeah, because
be really, really useful in that, like
mm,
really useful.
it's not at the moment. It's probably well, it can be, but at the moment it is like, for example, it will highlight because obviously not everything that I do has success. So
And
I might have
it highlights here you are
it
not.
highlights a
Okay,
yeah
let's ask the mind.
yeah.
Do you want us or me to be good, well, or do you wanna just point out that nothing is working? Yeah.
It only wants to look at the things that doesn't work and dismisses the things that does. There's so many things that work and
So
so
good to
few
see
that
that.
don't work.
So good to see that. That's a pattern of the of all the minds that are existing probably to constantly
Mm,
dismiss the good stuff. It's like, oh,
mm.
okay, this is it. And
Yeah, yeah.
emphasize the bad. Yeah, that's really good to notice that pattern.
Mm,
Okay,
yeah.
why the pattern is happening? Let's ask why this is happening. What this gives me.
I think, well, I don't know whether it drives me. So it
Mm-hmm.
drives me to do a lot more than maybe that I would otherwise do.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
whether
it's
that's a
like a
good
drive,
thing or a
like
bad thing,
let's see the bad
it's a
thing and
drive.
to be more like to have more drive. Okay,
Yeah.
but is it
So to
true?
drive from a negative perspective, it's like you're not good enough, work harder, do better. You
Mm-hmm.
failed here, you shouldn't have failed there, you should have got that right.
Mm-hmm.
These are kind of old patterns that I recognize. They're not so much of a problem now, but I see them still.
Okay, okay.
So
And is
I
it
will
true? Is
carry.
it true?
Mm.
We can look, is it true that the drive is possible only from a negative part? Is it true?
No, it should be like I would love to be driven from passion and like just drawn towards it instead of running away from it. Yeah. So
Beautiful, beautiful.
yeah. That would be a much more delightful way. That's the way my wife lives, actually. Can work very, very hard, but when she's doing it, it's just passionate. You know, there's nothing will get
Beautiful,
in the way, nothing will stop her. But she's one-minded and focused,
beautiful, yeah.
and she enjoys it. Whereas with me, I kind of set this huge target that's almost impossible, and then I'll work towards it and work extremely hard and to because if I'll make sure I've got a target that I have to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, I'll set up a webinar for many people to attend, and then I haven't built the thing to show yet, but now I've got a week to build it. So I might have to work, get up at 3 in the morning and work till 10 at night for 4 days to get it done in time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
And
do
so
you,
and then there's a frustration because this should work and
yes,
that should
yes,
work and that
yes.
should be easy and I should do it much faster. And
And
so it's driven from fear. That's like
okay, but do
fear.
you enjoy that? Or is there a part, obviously there is a part that is enjoying that? Is it possible to have a
The
look? that have to have a look or to accept the possibility, probably a possibility that maybe there is a part, unconscious one, unseen,
Mm. Mm.
not possible to, like invisible part that actually enjoys that.
Well, I think it must, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the I think where it's come from is that, like, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't really achieve
Mm.
things necessarily because I have a sense of perfectionism,
Good. Good to see
and
that.
so
Very good to see that.
if if I have 1 month to do something, it's going to take me 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
If I have 1 week to do something, I'll do it in a week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and it's maybe not better than what it would be in a month. It's just I'd keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, so in a sense, I think it's just a pattern that's built up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Pattern that
yeah.
no one up till now is not being questioned. It's just
Mm,
doing like driving from due to habit. It's not because, yeah,
mm,
it's just reinforcing. Yeah. And this part that is enjoying that is hidden. It's not like it's invisible. It's
mm,
in unconscious, so to speak. And it's hard to like to admit, oh, actually, yeah, there is a part that is enjoying that. That's why it is happening.
mm.
We don't know the reason for which this part is enjoying that.
I think maybe it's the same thing with a sense of importance.
It could
I'm
be.
very busy. I'm very important, because I'm busy and you're not.
Mhm.
So,
So good to see that. Yeah, can you see the humor here? I'm laughing because, yeah, yeah, it's for all of us.
mm,
We all have this. Yeah, and just we don't have to do any complicated spiritual things to just to notice how it plays and to notice the unnecessary that it's not necessary anymore. It's like
mm,
another game is being played here. One friend
mm,
shared something beautiful that, oh my goodness, realizing some patterns. She said something like, there is a new game, like the game is with new rules, and these patterns, they don't know,
mm.
they are acting like according to the old. And the game is
Yeah,
new. Yeah.
yeah. I like it
Mm.
because there is a leap of faith that's needed to play that new game as well.
Right. Yeah.
So, and I think this came out in last night's,
Mhm.
was it last night when it came out about being supported?
Yeah. Being held.
That came being held and supported. That came out last night, didn't it?
Mhm.
Um, and there isn't quite, that doesn't exist here for me, for
Mm.
this experience in the same way.
Okay, how it is
And
existing then? What is the experience there with in connection to being
well,
supported or being held?
well, I'm very much on my own, and I
Right.
did have this happened. I know what I mean. I know this because of work I've done in the past.
Mhm.
As a child, as an adult, I would have said I had a great childhood. My childhood was wonderful, great family, loving parents, and so on, and just a normal childhood, I would have said.
Mhm.
Um, and I did a landmark forum weekend. I don't know whether you're not familiar with the landmark forum, but they lock you up for about 3 days, and they use techniques it's actually very much can be an experience of enlightenment for some people
Wow.
because the way they frame, like, it's just a completely open, loving environment. We feel that you can share anything.
Beautiful.
So, and there's a couple of hundred people that go through it. Usually there's 100 to 200 people, so it's very big. But
Mhm.
they foster this environment where it feels you can share anything. So people do share things they've never shared in their life in front of everyone, and
Wow.
they're held.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And as part of what they do, they say you must find something when you're 5 years old, that something impacted your life enormously when you were 5 to 8, and then from, I can't remember the age, maybe 11 to 15, and then 20 to something. So you're locked in this room for 10 or 12 hours, and then you go home and you got to do homework, right? And you're back there the next morning at 8 o'clock or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't think of anything. Stayed up all night thinking, like, my life was good. I mean, I can't think of anything at 5 or 6
Right.
or. And then I thought, oh, do you know what? One time, my mother, she used to hit me with a wooden spoon, not very often, but that was the way that discipline was done in those days, right? And I can't remember what I did wrong, but she chased me around the house, and
Oh,
I
oh,
got away from. I escaped her. I beat her, and so I did 2 laps, and she couldn't catch me. So that was fantastic. And then I made the mistake of hiding, and she found me. So she probably hit me a little bit harder than she would have otherwise. So she hit me on the leg with these wooden spoons. And so the next morning, I decided that I would punish her. So when she went to kiss me, the school was just up the road, only a block away. And so I used to walk on my own, and she'd stand and watch me walk. So
mm,
when she went to kiss me goodbye in the morning, I walked off. I didn't take a kiss. I didn't kiss her. I walked off.
oh,
And then,
oh, poor,
and
poor
the
boy.
next morning when it was time, the next morning when it was time to go to school, I walked out the front gate and I waited for my kiss, and it didn't come. She didn't kiss me.
Wow.
And so then I walked off, and then I just thought I was on my own at 5 years old. I felt I had no one,
Oh,
that I'd done such a bad thing, that I wasn't loved.
yeah.
And so, and I
Mm.
mean, that was my whole world was shaken, and from that point on, she didn't kiss me, by the way, at all, for something like, I don't know, 20 something years. And then we got an Italian come into the family, and everyone's kissing everyone. And that's the only time as an adult, she would give me a peck on the cheek, but even then it'd be a pat on the shoulder. And my father didn't hug me either. Like, that wasn't a man thing to do. You shake hands. So I
Absolutely,
had
yeah.
very little physical contact, very, very little physical contact.
Mm.
And so, I worked out, because at first I'm thinking, oh, is that a problem? Oh, I don't know. That hasn't impacted me. I'm fine. That was nothing. And
Mm.
then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, you know what? That's probably why my heart is locked. Like,
Yeah,
like it's locked, like in brick. Like, I can't trust anyone. I don't let anyone get too close, because I'm on my own and I have to
yeah,
stand on my own.
because it hurts. Yeah, the hurts wants to be felt.
Mm,
The hurts,
mm,
yeah, wants to be felt. We are always
mm,
taken care of, always. Even when it seems that we are not, we are.
mm,
Yeah, we being like that, this is being held also.
mm.
Yeah, can you notice that right now? If
Yeah,
you bring in a
but
memory of a child, yeah, this is being held.
tell me more.
Like the child being like that, the wounded part,
Mm,
this
mm,
is also held. This is in this
mm.
the
Yeah.
vast space.
Mm.
It's
Yeah,
like
it's not separate.
yeah, it's not separate. We somehow we part of our
Mm,
divides to that, but it's being held,
mm,
including the division. Division is also held.
mm,
Mm.
mm. Yeah, I think that's why I struggle with that idea, though, because I'm very independent, and
Mhm.
I don't really rely on anyone else. Um,
Mm.
so that, and I can see what you're saying. It's like this. It's the same as this. This isn't separate. It can't be
It
separate.
isn't, yeah.
So
And
I
when
can
we
see
are
what you're
like
saying
that,
in
this
the
is also
child.
not separate.
Mm,
And also there is a much more greater compassion. Mm, mm, yeah, compassion, I would call it, or love that can hold that he's holding that.
mm,
And paradoxically, we are this greater space, and we are also the tiny fragment, separate. And we are neither.
Mm.
This is how vast
That's
we
what I
are.
was about to say too. Yeah, we're
We're
neither, because
neither.
even I don't even believe the story. It's a
Yeah,
story.
yeah, but it
Like,
stays like a somatic experience. It stays here and it operates
mm,
from here. So
mm,
we are neither that, neither. But
mm,
we could say that we are all of that.
mm,
This is how vast we are. Yeah. Mm.
mm,
Mm. We have so many layers, so many aspects, and we are none of those.
mm,
Yeah, and again, to be awake, to awaken for all these aspects is to become whole again. That's awakening, becoming whole, excluding nothing, including all of it,
mm,
including the feeling I am not, I have never been supported, including that.
mm. It seems like I kind of feel like I kind of feel what you're saying, and that
Mm-hmm.
I get the sense it can't be separate. And
Yeah.
on one way, I want to almost just say, well, it's just neurons firing. It's just a story. It didn't even happen. Even whatever happened didn't happen like that. Like my
Mm-hmm.
mind has made up or
Mm-hmm.
changed it, or maybe something like that happened. So and yet you say this is real, the feeling that comes with it,
Yeah, the
but
feeling is
the
real, is very real.
but even the feeling isn't so big anymore. It's not. It was never really all that big after because it was locked.
Exactly, yeah.
And
It was suppressed. It was like,
mm,
it's like we locked
mm,
ourselves like the most precious part of ourselves. We lock it in the basement and we throw the
mm,
key somewhere.
mm. So again, welcome that
Yeah,
separation
yeah, welcome that.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I do
welcome.
push people away still.
Mm.
People in
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to rely or depend on people. I don't share things with even very close people. Um, and
Yeah,
so I don't
yeah.
see the point in it in a way, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need anything from them for it. So most people would probably share it because they feel like they get supported from the empathy or from,
Mm-hmm.
or from just sharing the experience. But I tend not to share
Mm. They were, well, I would say that that meeting is quite the proof that from the opposite. That
it.
you're sharing very openly and vulnerably.
Yes, certain things. Yeah.
Mm. And also there is wisdom that is acting wisely, where to share, with whom to share, how to share, where to like.
Mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm.
we
Well,
don't
hopefully
like.
that, yeah.
Mm.
Go on, sorry.
Okay, I'm just enjoying the openness and softness of the experience right now.
Mm, mm. It's a fun game, I guess, isn't it?
Amusing, very amusing game.
If you didn't believe it, it wouldn't be much fun, would it? You have to kind of.
Yeah, we don't have to believe it. We just can enjoy the ride, to
Mm.
enjoy the playing of the game without believing anything, without believing we are something in that game. There is just game, just play.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah.
Thank you, Luchan.
Oh, thank you, Michael. That was
Yeah.
really beautiful, really beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful to explore it all with you and kind of open up some doors and see what pops out.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see how it's gonna unfold.